All right, everyone. Welcome back to VOD review, the last of the season. So for the tournament games, I wanted to go through and look at more big picture things because I think there's a lot that we might change in terms of our comps or our strategies. So I didn't want to get too into the weeds in terms of, okay, well, we want to do this or that when this happens on this map. Maybe I'll throw out something here or there. But the big picture is just kind of looking at how we can approach things differently as a team going forward. So let's get into it. So first of all,
offense I can swing. Right?
one thing that I think me and Oliver, both callers, need to get better at is deciding what our strategy is going to be in advance of the round, so that we can very quickly actually call it and get in position correctly. So let me turn up the volume here so you can see. So the round is just ending. We're in the post round right now. Might have been saying it, but I might have been talking over it.
I had to turn around to shoot the fade eye, and when I turned back around, five of them were on me.
Oh,
okay.
I see.
Yeah.
I should put my wall up too. I had my wall there for you guys.
They all just pushed directly through my smoke.
Yeah.
Let's get aggressive out of showers. Why don't we?
I like
oh,
it.
never mind. You guys are over there.
Yeah, so like that's a great call to get aggressive out of showers, but the problem is that now we have 10 seconds, and as we'll see if I go ahead and mute this now, but oops, I went too fast. Dang it. Yeah, there we go. You can see we're arriving as the round is starting, and we're not really, where our spacing is a little off. Like I'm not quite ready to push up and get this trade. It ends up almost working out, but I think it could have been better if we were... The difference is subtle, but it could have made the difference between us getting an eco kill or not there. And just to be clear, in this round, it was a heavy eco, so... chances are good we'd lose it regardless, but I just wanted to kind of highlight that because it's something that both on offense and defense we had problems with throughout the season, is me or Oliver calling a strategy too late and then us not being able to position pre-round in order to do it. So that's something for us both to work on. All right. Now in here I'm going to go to rounds 6 and 7. One thing that I think we do want to work on as well is making the call to save. I am a noted unfan of saving. However, sometimes it's what you need to do. And a lot of it does depend on the situation and the site as well. So in this case, the site in question is B on bind, which is notably... very difficult to retake. So I think at this point right here, Cass and Oliver in a 2v4 where Cass has the op in particular, I think the call should be made right here to just save. And as it turns out, Oliver and Cass end up getting 2 kills, and maybe if they both have rifles, then you push up to CT and see if you can get a couple picks, and then don't commit unless you do. But I think with the op in play, it's just going to be better off to just, go next on this round. So then this next round here, let's see what our buy looks like after that. I don't remember if we had money here. Okay, so we have like half money kind of situation. Yeah, so then as this round plays out, oh, wait, I think I actually skipped. I got confused. Yeah, that's round 8. Yeah, sorry, this round was 7, and then... Yeah, the one with the op was 7, and then this round here, if we go back to round 5, yeah, at this point, this is also a 2v4 here. And once again, maybe a little poking and prodding is adequate. But I think as soon as we get into the situation of having no space on site, 2v4 on, bind B site, I think we should be thinking, unless we find a golden opportunity to shoot some people in the back of the head or something, I think it's time to just go next with those guns. And then Chase does get 1 there. I still think it might be fair, unless we have like a really good plan in terms of what we're using to retake, to you know, save here because Viper and Brim, honestly, not the best retake characters. I think, you know, if this is Reyna and Gecko, me and Alex, just because of our utility, I think maybe it's more doable. So it's definitely something that I don't think is a hard and fast protocol of X players versus X players, but something that I think we should just keep in mind more, because basically us, since we lost a lot on B site, those 2 rounds that we could have saved could have made a difference, because we ended up losing the next round after both of those. So would it have made a difference for sure? Who knows? But it certainly could have. All right, so now I want to go to round 9, which is this one. All right, this is something about this is something where I think we definitely want to talk more in the defensive pre-round about where people are holding and how we're supporting each other, because I come up with a stupid idea that I didn't think through all the way, which is I tell Cass, I say, hey, I'm going to play across here in Garden, and, you know, we'll basically crossfire that Cass can swing off my contact. My idea is, you know, someone comes up here, I shoot one, more are swinging, and then Cass swings with dash up optimally, and then, yeah, we got a nice little little trap play going. However, I didn't think about the fact that, like, this Viper roll is going to be here, and the Viper roll is important to slow down the hookah push. So Alex ends up asking for the wall to come up, which makes total sense. And then, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, don't put the wall up. My play is more important.
Yeah, I can't swing off through the wall.
Right, and so now me and Cass's thing doesn't work out. And then, while that was the much more serious issue, there's also a bit of a miscommunication here in terms of what Cass and Alex are holding, because Cass here has dash up and decides to leave here. But at this point, Alex has switched to looking towards Garden. So Cass dashing over here actually puts him in a much worse position, because now he's taking the fight with multiple people in hookah, and Alex isn't really able to support that at the moment. Cass dies. So I make a very poorly thought out plan here, and then Cass and Alex are on different pages. So I think if we could just talk more about where people are holding, that would be helpful in not having that sort of situation happen. All right, so now going to offense here.
To the right.
Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead a little too far. Okay, yes. So one of the things I think we want to do on offense, it's easy to get like caught up in what our plans, you know, the optimal situations are. I think we want to inject a little bit more pace into our hits and being willing to go in, even if it's not necessarily the optimal scenario. One thing that I want to do for next season is get a sense for rotate timings, like actually, you know, take a stopwatch on my phone and record myself, you know, going from one site to the other on defense, just to get a sense. Because the thing is, if we lose one player but have gained some space, even if it's not all the way onto the site, then, you know, we might still be looking at a 4v2 or a 4v3. And if we have a good plan in terms of our utility, and we can get in fast enough so that that's still what the numbers are, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, particularly if we're running a setup like this where we don't have map space elsewhere, and rotating at that point will, you know, also lead to a very high chance of a defender rotating with us and us being in the same position but with less space, and also open us up to anyone who's gotten cheeky with the flank potentially having a favorable gunfight against us. So I'll just kind of let the round play out here. I think this was good in terms of how we committed here.
Cypher's here. Cypher's here.
So we lose
So TP.
We're in a TP, planning.
Oliver,
Oh, what?
but then we
Watch for
are able to get the guy to TP.
It's not planted. It's not planted.
I don't
So
know why
it's
my
not the
wingman
lineup.
didn't
Okay.
plant where I wanted it
sorry,
to.
my bad. Allow me to use it.
One CT.
Oh, yeah, one TP. Out,
Hits
out.
the TP. She doesn't know that she's. Yeah, nice. Okay, if you want to wrap.
Somebody's
Yeah,
there.
one on site.
I love that little spot. That's so fun.
Someone ping spike.
Sana.
One
I'm
enemy
picking it.
remaining.
Reloading.
Where was that from?
He's back.
Yeah, and then we win the round. Not much to see there. All right, so there are a couple things I wanted to point out about round 16. So that's going to be not this round. It's going to be this round.
All good. All good. Sorry, I should have been more
You were
clear.
good. We just made a good contact. We got one pick, and there was one more there. I didn't realize there was a trap, and I walked.
Got it. Well, you know,
Are we gonna wait for Oliver first, or one's in Hicka?
Wait, I'm confused. Oh yeah, I'm 1 round too. I'm not good with these round numbers. I don't know. It's some difficult math. Right. I was trying to go for this round here.
Yep, trip.
And on showers.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
I'll shark into lamps, plan to take
Come on,
space
little
off of
homies.
that, and then
Let's
plan
get
for
it.
showers, and I'll swing showers to meet up with Cass.
So that's our initial plan. We're doing a similar
Shark
split, but
trips?
we're gonna go
I'm
off
not
of
sure.
my
We're
shark.
about to find out. All right. Here goes. Sharking.
Okay. I don't have my wall up
Clear.
yet. Up,
Oh,
just
jet on
of the
top.
truck.
Jet. Yeah. Nice. Lamps unknown though. Lamps unknown.
Okay, we don't have to keep fighting this.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'll
So
wait
am
for
I.
my wall to.
Yes, this is some great stall utility by them. Hats off to them with that, the way they were playing with the smoke and the fade thing. That makes it very difficult to keep going there.
My toxin is going down. You guys want to watch out?
Yeah,
Watch
let's
our flank, too.
slowly rotate because someone could have flanked by now.
Yeah, and then there's something I wanted to highlight here as well was that I've tried to improve at adjusting in terms of the strat calls, and I think there's one way I did that very well in this half, and one way that I did it very poorly. So the way that I did it well, I think, is that Cass mainly, but other people as well. I would sometimes was calling early in the game to play passively on the extremities to potentially get a timing or just kind of, slow peek something when the enemy isn't ready for it. The idea is, kind of taking control of this without stomping around and doing it fast. And I think that can work very well, and it did work in our previous bind game, but in this case, the other team was just very aware of this and very good at dealing with it. So after a couple times in the first couple rounds of our person 1v1 on an extremity just losing the fight, I decided to stop calling strats that involved one person going by themselves. And maybe, I could have brought it back in later, but it seemed like it just made more sense for us to group up. And then here, I really like how
Full running.
More than
the
one.
Cypher ult goes
Three
off,
showers
and then
versus
we
someone,
fake the B rotate and come back to A. I think
We're
that
probably
worked
gonna end
really
up going
well.
One
back
nearby
A
somewhere.
here. Let's just kind of.
I know
hold the flank.
exactly
Well-
where
Oh, let's push up Rozuka here. Let's sell the B. And then we run back on the second turn. Okay, run back.
Yeah, pretty slick.
Good try,
so
good try.
bad.
Yeah, so unfortunately, our post
Nice
plan
one.
just really fell
He's
apart
got
here.
dropped. He's in lamps.
There's like I was chasing ghosts over here I heard someone stomping around here, and I was trying to get them.
Watching the
And
cross.
then I got a little too excited about swinging them back sight when I knew they were there. And as it turns out, someone had just killed them, and then I got shot from heaven. So I did not play that well. But I like the macro adjustments in that round, both in terms of playing off the Cypher ult and in the future in terms of adjusting how we're doing our takes. Now, in this next round, we kind of get back to more of a full commit
Let's see,
situation,
Probably
and it works really well for us.
my wall up.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna put orb up. I'm just gonna.
Yep.
Are we walking this?
Cass, I need you here. Take contact.
Oh, that
Oh,
was
I-
nasty.
Back. We're gonna get spammed down from.
reloading.
Yep.
My wall's coming down. Hunter, you're kind of isolated.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good
Let's go
kill.
in. Let's go in.
My wall's totally down.
Yep.
There's a cam here that I don't know exactly where it is.
Yeah, so this year you guys weren't alive to see it, but this is the kind of thing that Gecko brings to the table right here. So first I'm able to molly to prevent the peek out as we're pushing up, and then I don't realize that this isn't that our showers people are peeking out all the way, so I peek that person with wingman in my hand. That part is not the good part of Gecko. That's just me being dumb, or not being dumb as much as not understanding the situation. But then as I'm planting there, I'm able to then go hold one of the places someone could swing from. If we have less people showers, as we talked about before, I'd go towards showers. Here I'm able to do lamps, And as it turns out, I'm in a super horrible position.
One
Cypher darted and
one.
Omen paranoid, but I'm able to do some damage and, you know, slow down what's going on here, all while the spike is being planted. Instead, you know, if I was actually planting the spike, then that would be Oliver who'd have to deal with it by himself, and then we could potentially lose that side of our post plan. Instead, I'm able to do that while the spike's going down, and it ends up working better for us. So I think that's one of the little nice things about Gecko that none of you saw because you were alive. Even though I didn't get the kill in that case. All right, so basically at this part of the game, we ended up winning 3 rounds in a row on offense, adjusting well to what they were doing, and which was great. However, then they adjusted to our adjustments. We were going towards staying together, doing split hits on a site, and then just kind of leaving together if needed, and sometimes re-hitting. Like our adjustment was to kind of play together as a team and to be decisive. And then they realized essentially that we were, you know, taking initial space, especially at A short, was a big part of our plan. And if they could contest that, then that would be a huge advantage to them. And we were simply not ready for it.
Be away for long.
Yeah, we still
You dizzy?
plan some
Yeah,
security.
okay. So
Yeah,
first
so
things
we'll
first.
Contact, but plan on hitting this unless things go horribly wrong.
Yeah, so they very much telegraph that they're doing something different by throwing, excuse me, by throwing this smoke here. One thing that I realized is what we were doing at this point is waiting for Oliver's smoke orb to land in lamps before we would peek because he has a lineup for it. And I think that if we have multiple people here, it might be wise to, while the smoke orb is landing, to have me and Alex just kind of jiggle this angle, because that prevents someone from pushing up to Cubby, which ends up being what happens in this round, and we aren't expecting it.
Ooh, they did a deep smoke this
Yeah, let me
time.
dizzy.
Yeah, it's close. Be updrafted somewhere.
Yeah, so that dizzy is kind of cool because you could see by the angle at which it was going and the fact that, you know, the likely positions that someone could be, that basically was a hard read of Jet being on the truck. And this is where I really should have considered the possibility for someone to be here, and this is a great time to use Wingman. I just didn't think to do it, and I really wish I would have.
Yeah, I'm gonna spam from.
If you're by yourself at the moment, I can't get there in time.
Oh, close left. Oh,
Yeah,
two feet out.
so that really makes it difficult for us to get
Being
back
pinged
into
by
this round.
You got shot by a cam.
Cam. Damn.
So basically, they flipped the script on us by not letting us take A short so easily. And then, you know, now that we knew that that's what they were doing, that they were kind of getting used to, you know, pushing into us more. I should have made more of an adjustment, I think, to either go harder on our side hit to make the pushes and flanks less relevant, that we just deal with them if we're there and then ignore them if they're somewhere else, or done a much more spread out, like true default, falling back, waiting for the push. Because I will say my hat is absolutely off to the other team on how they played this round. We could have played it better, but they did this. Man, this was just so impressive on their part.
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm sharking into Hookah here to clear it out, while Oliver and Chase are kind of passively holding the A thing, seeing what goes on there, so we could potentially rotate back.
Here, shark coming back.
That's as far as she goes. You want more?
Okay, I'm gonna go towards the
And then their Reyna realizes that we haven't done a good job of holding the extremity control here. Sometimes not having anyone there at all. Sometimes just having one person. And probably the team comms were indicating to them that we were showing presence over here, so she felt pretty good about this. And we just put a lot of emphasis on A short. So she walks all the way up, gets a kill here. Great play by
Oh,
them.
up from showers. Up from showers. Don't fight that.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. And so then at this point, I'm not sure how hard Reyna is flanking, and we haven't really gained any space on B. So I'm coming back to figure out what's going on with that. Now, what the enemy does. First, I'm just going to focus on the good of what the enemy team does, and then I'm going to talk about what we should do differently here. But they've got the Reyna pushing here. Now watch what they do after that. I'm in fact going to turn up the volume a little bit.
Nice.
Thrash
I know
is
you're
ready.
trapped towards B.
Okay, so they Omen TP while the Reyna is pushing on the flank. So now, basically, we are kind of carved up here because Cass is long, and he's dealing with the fact that Alex just died here. Chase and me are dealing with the fact that we're being flanked and TP'd behind at the same time. And then they add one more curveball into the mix.
Where?
They do a fade ult across the map from A short to get us here, which is just, that's just the icing on the cake right there. So now their Omen, we did hear the TP landing somewhere over here, but now we're not going to hear him positioning after that. And yeah, we're basically being, we're having to take duels like we're in a death match in terms of how wacky these positionings are and uncomfortable for us.
There's 2 down Hunter. Oh,
Yeah, so I'm able to get a kill and back off, but then I get stabbed in the back by the Omen.
Spike down. B.
Wow, good try, good try.
Yeah. So, first of all, just really well coordinated by them with that push. However, there are definitely things we could have done better. I think that, in general, one thing that we need to improve at, and we'll see this in the other maps as well, is just grouping up more, and especially on offense, unless we feel like there's a particular plan that we have in mind, not being by ourselves as much as possible. So in this case, I think that, and some of this was, I don't remember what I was calling here as well. So I'm not saying this is Alex's fault, but I think Alex should have either come back to us or waited for Cass to join him, and then having the 2 and 2 there, because our star player ends up dying by himself, with no one can even remotely help in terms of utility. And if you would have waited a couple more seconds, Cass would have been there. Once again, I think as I'm looking at this, I think the call was initially for Alex to go by himself. So some of that is me calling, and some of it is just adjusting mid-round. I think it's perfectly fine for someone to say, "Hey, could I get some help here?" Or just, "Can I go back?" Or just going back, not even saying it to a teammate. And then from here, I think I should have been more, ignoring the Cass and Alex side of things, I should have been more decisive when it comes to me and Chase, in terms of how we were going to play this. It's an awkward situation, but if we would have both gone to short together, then I think that off my shark, if Chase is there, then hopefully I get this kill, I get paranoid, and then Chase kills the fade, and now we have this whole area of the map open to just go take A for free. So in general, I think that if we played the 2 and 2 better there, we have a very solid chance of winning that round, even after losing the first pick of Oliver being pushed by the Reyna. So there you have it. That's the bind review. Yeah, I did feel like watching the VOD, it was winnable if we just fixed if we just adjusted a little bit better on offense. But honestly, we were, 5 and 4 on offense? Yeah, we still were positive on offense, so there's a chance we would have ended up fixing it. I think that our defensive protocols need some work, and a lot of that is not so much the calling as much as just the how we each play and communicate. So that's all for now. Have a good day.